I'd to welcome you to EMU Today TV. My name is Mark S. Lee, and I'm your host. It's hard to believe we are now in our ninth season, telling stories from the great Eastern Michigan University, my alma mater. And it's always a pleasure to be doing this with you each and every year. And to the students, welcome. I know this is October, but welcome to another academic year as well. So today's show, we're going to focus on introducing you to two new deans to the university. And pleased to start with Dean Amy Hietapelto, and she's the Dean of the College of Business. And Dean, thank you very much for joining me in EMU Today TV. Glad to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here.
Absolutely. So let's start with that. You're new to the university. You came here, I believe, back in July this last summer. Give us a brief overview of your background and then eventually what brought you to EMU.
Okay. I was born and raised in South Florida, so this might seem like kind of a stretch, but my father was a freighter captain on those Great Lakes that you see on the big iron ore freighters. And so we lived in Florida so he could golf all winter, but I spent all my summers up around the Great Lakes, including Michigan. So this is my second home. I am first gen. No one in my family went to college. Uh, my father was the youngest of 10. It really wasn't affordable at that time, so they went on the railroads or the boats. So first gen, I did go to Michigan State University for my first two degrees. Then I went and worked in corporate America for close to 10 years, Smith Barney, Merrill Lynch, IBM, companies like that, before returning to get my PhD at the University of Minnesota. I have taught in upstate New York. I taught at Michigan Tech in the UP, and I was most recently dean at the University of Minnesota Duluth for the Leibovitz School of Business and Economics. I've been a dean or in a higher ed leadership position for close to 20 years. So I come with a strong background in being a dean, and I've taught or been in higher ed for close to 30 years. So that's a little bit about my background. My bachelor's is in marketing. My bachelor's is psychology. My MBA is marketing, and my PhD is org studies. Why EMU though? I think was the second part of your question, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I am attracted to universities such as yours that serve first gen students, that value social mobility, that value access and opportunity, and particularly are embedded in the region that they serve. So those are typically regional comprehensives like UMD was, like you are. And that's because those students live here, they work here, they raise families here, and the work that we do transforms their lives, but also it transforms the economic ecosystem of the region. And for me, that's really impactful work. And getting a degree changed the trajectory of my life. It actually changed the trajectory of my siblings' lives, who then went on to get degrees. And I have nieces now getting PhDs. So for me, education transforms lives, and ultimately it transforms the region and the community for the better. And so I am excited to be part of that work in Ypsilanti and for Eastern Michigan University.
And we are excited to have you. As everybody
Thank you.
knows, this is my alma mater. I went here undergraduate. And one of the things, Dean, I like to share with people, as you know, I'm a lecturer as well at the College of Business. We'll unpack the COB in a second. Now, I like to tell people that our students are grinders. They work very
Right.
hard. And I love what you said. Even when I was a student way back, just a couple of years ago, we had a lot of students that were commuting to the university. And I love to tell the story that I believe that our students are grinders. And in your short time here, what have you noticed about our students, the student population, in terms of how they relate to Eastern Michigan University?
I like that. And thank you for asking that question. I want to piggyback on what you just said. When I get out and talk to alumni, and I've already been out there, they unilaterally said what an amazing experience they had, how great the faculty were, how great the program was. But they also talked about how they had complex lives and they had challenges. And they came here for a variety of reasons, but it was not easy. And it reminds me when I went to school, my father said, "You're just going to get married and have kids. I'm not paying for college." And I said,
Mm,
"Fine, I'll do it." And I waitressed my way through my degrees. My parents didn't pay. And sometimes that was the only meal I got was when I was at the restaurant, right? We have students who have really complex lives, often who struggle to put together the tuition and the package. And yet you use the term grinders. They are dedicated, they are determined, they are working to overcome obstacles to be able to stay in school. I have already given a number of emergency scholarships to students who found themselves in really challenging circumstances. We can't always do that. We don't always have the funds, and I'm always trying to get more, but I think your point is well taken. Alumni said they had an amazing experience. When I talked to the companies, they love hiring our students. They love having them as interns because they have that grit, they have that determination, and they continue to succeed, and excel no matter how challenging. And that says a lot about our students that we graduate. I hear great things from the companies that hire them. So I'm excited to be able to work with these students and try to provide them every opportunity that we can.
And I would tell you, it's exciting to hear you say that. And it's exciting for me to, as an alumnus of this great institution to hear how the employers are talking about our students. And I'm in the classroom. I've been teaching here for several years now. And I share and echo your thoughts. And let's segue, if we could, to the College of Business, where you're now the Dean of
Certainly.
the College of Business. And in your short time, let's talk about COB and give us your perspective of what you've noticed, what the challenges are, and of course, moving forward, what's your vision for the college?
Absolutely. It's been a tough time for universities in Michigan. Michigan got hit for a number of reasons during the pandemic and demographically in the last few years. And I know it's been challenging for Eastern Michigan. I think that there are tremendous opportunities to build the college and even exceed where it was before the pandemic hit and before we saw so many economic challenges. And so I'm also on a listening tour and talking to as many staff, faculty, and leaders throughout the community and in the colleges I can to really get a better sense of what those challenges are. I, I think that engagement is absolutely critical. We need to do much more in terms of engaging with each other, with our students, with the business community. It's not that we don't, we do, but we need to ratchet it up and be even more consistent across campus. I also think we're a bit of a best kept secret, and that's not necessarily a good thing. And I hear great things from our alumni and our employers, but I don't know that we're out in the community and that students who are considering colleges necessarily know about us or what we do. So as part of the engagement, I also want to work much harder to get the success stories out there and to let people know about the things that we do and do really, really well. For instance, do you know that our average pass rate on the CPA is above the national average and above the average in Ohio and Michigan? And I wonder how many students thinking about majoring in accounting realize that our average scores for the CPA pass rate and test scores are above average. I want to make sure that our accolades and that the positive things we do gets out there. Our students have an opportunity to work with companies. They get great internships. They work on applied projects. Our student clubs compete in competitions. They get accolades for many of those. Our SHRM chapter, the Human Society of Human Resource Management, is one of the best in the country. I just think we need to do a better job of letting people know what we do and how well we do it. And I am working to do that. Along with that, more communication and engagement, we have on the agenda a new College of Business building that we'll be moving into within 2 years. And if we have a chance, I'd be really excited to talk about that.
Why don't you talk about that right now? That I know it's a question that people have. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. You may or may not know that we had been in Owen Hall for a while back. That building was sold. We were moved into temporary space a few years ago. And finally, we're in the queue and moving up. We will be moving into we'll be moving into a renovated Pierce Hall, fall of 27. The building is being emptied this semester and construction starts this January. It'll take 12 to 18 months. So let's say 18 months. It could be summer of 27. And it will be in 4 phases. The first phase will do the ground and the main floor, and we'll particularly focus on all the student-facing spaces and student collaborative spaces and spaces to collaborate with the community. So advising, grad and undergrad, career services, the entrepreneurship center, community space, space to bring the community in to engage with the students. Some training labs, multiple student-focused and externally focused space. After that, the second phase is to build a huge new addition onto the building that will have an atrium, multi-level, and will have more labs and more student space. Once those two phases are done, and that will probably start as soon as the first phase is done, then the later phases will renovate the third and fourth floors of the building, where the faculty, staff, the deans, and departmental offices will be. We're all moving in. That space is fine. It's there, and we'll move into it as it is, but it'll be renovated in stages. Still, the big important part for the grand opening will be by fall of 27, and I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited to hear this because I was one of those that taught over the Owen building,
Right.
and obviously it's been a few years since the transition has occurred. And I do know, Dean, that there have been some questions in terms of what are the next steps for the College of Business. That's so exciting to hear that.
It
Hear
is.
it's great to hear the enthusiasm in your voice. And for those of you tuning in, again, I want you to hear what she just said. Go back and rewind this part of the conversation and really hone in on what she's saying about Pierce Hall, the Pierce building is being renovated. Before we wrap up, I think we have a couple minutes or so, well, about 3 minutes, so we have some time to still have a conversation. Talk about other priorities, if any, that you really are focused on. And what I'm talking about, you said we're the best kept secret. Is there any into a marketing campaign, any into engaging alumni? Address that from your perspective as well.
We're working closely already with the foundation at Eastern Michigan University. And as part of my overall engagement, I have been out meeting alums. I have already given a Meet the Dean session at Plant Moran. They sponsored us, brought them in. There was like 40 people there. I'm out in front of board members all the time talking about the exciting things that are happening. Remember, I want to bring it back to engagement. I want us to engage even more deeply and broadly and impactfully with students, with alumni, with each other, and with the business community, with our board members. And all of that is underway and happening right now. I have meetings coming up with my board. I revamped the student advisory board and just issued invitations to serve on that. I am really excited about the opportunities. I think that we have had challenges, but we have even more opportunities in front of us. Let me close by saying we're also looking at our programs to make sure that they are current, that they meet the needs of students, that they're delivered in the modality students need. And so as we get ready to move into the new building, we're looking at where we can upgrade, enhance, bring out new programs. We just brought out a brand new wealth management program for undergraduates, which is something that is really important for the region. So stay tuned for more things that we'll be doing and more cool new programs that we'll be bringing out.
Dean Amy Hietapelto, I want to thank you, the Dean, our new Dean for the College of Business. I love your enthusiasm. I love the vision. Thank you very much for providing us with an update. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm truly excited to be here and to be part of the next phase of the College of Business at Eastern Michigan University. So again, thank you so much.
My pleasure. And just recently was homecoming. Yes, I had the opportunity of attending homecoming. When you sit back, there's a video, and Eastern won, and we had a video. It was an exciting video, it was an exciting weekend, step shows, just a lot of things happening on campus that weekend. I want you to sit back and relax and enjoy this video. And on the other side, we have another new dean we're going to introduce you to on EMU Today TV. Hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, then welcome you back to EMU Today TV. I hope you enjoyed that exciting, fun video for homecoming. Just happened last month. That was an awesome experience. I had a chance to go back, and it's always great to go back and just see old friends and just reconnect. And by the way, Eastern won that football game as well. All right, we're going to continue our conversation. We're introducing you to another new dean to Eastern Michigan University, Dean Carol Bishop Mills, and she's the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. And we're going to spend some time getting to know her as well. Carol, thanks for joining me. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing very well today. Thanks.
So, what I'd like for you to do is take us a few moments and talk about your background and what brought you to EMU as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm super excited to be joining this community. I've spent the last 6 years at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida, as the Associate Dean of Faculty Success, and prior to that, the Director of the School of Communication and Multimedia Studies. Before that, I had spent 18 years of my academic career at the University of Alabama. Although I did start my career, you were talking about football, in another MAC school at Northern Illinois University. So super excited to be back in the Midwest and be back at a school that really emphasizes student success and faculty engagement in a really amazing way.
And so, in that amazing way, you're down in Florida, the most recent opportunity. And so, what was it? What was the appeal of coming to EMU as well to continue your career?
Yeah. Well, it certainly wasn't the scuba diving that I'm giving up. But I'm a first generation college student. So when I went to college, not only am I the first in my family that graduated from college, I'm the only one in my generation that went to college. So I have two amazing sisters who are doing really well on their own, but neither of them went to college. But I have three biological children who have all gone to college. And Eastern Michigan University is to me precisely the kind of school that focuses on the needs of first gen students, students from underrepresented backgrounds, students from marginalized communities. And for me, that's where my heart is. And I was really amazed when I saw how seriously faculty take that responsibility to students and the kinds of engagement that students get here that they don't get at any other kind of institution I've witnessed either as a student, graduate student, or faculty member or administrator in my career.
You've been here for 10 weeks and you're
Yes.
still getting your feet wet.
Yes.
So, what have you learned in terms of the university in your short time here? What have you learned about the EMU student? What have you learned about the university, the faculty, and everybody involved in this great institution?
Yeah, so I have really been, you're talking about getting your feet wet. And I mentioned I was a diver. I've actually been diving in as much as I possibly can to continue that cheesy analogy, but I love cheesy things. So there we go. I have been to music events. I have been to football games. I have been over to the water testing facility that they ran this weekend to test well water in our community members. I've been to a play. Tonight, I'm hoping to go to something at the observatory. I've been visiting every department that I can in the College of Arts and Sciences. I've been out meeting students. And what just really strikes me is this incredible commitment to ensuring that students have opportunities here in one-on-one relationships with faculty and just engagement here that they just simply would not get anywhere else. And, when I see faculty members giving up weekends to do their extracurricular activities or, to take students on science expeditions and excursions or to work with students directly on their art or on their creative writing. It's just that kind of commitment that really makes this place incredibly special.
Yeah, and let's talk about the College of Arts and Sciences as you've come in. Kind of talk to us about what's your overview? What's your 30,000 foot overview in terms of what are you seeing right now? And what
Mm.
are the opportunity areas moving forward? What are some of your priorities and vision as you think about the future of the college?
That one's so incredibly important because I think we are at a critical moment in education in the United States in general, but particularly in the arts and sciences, because we have kind of national discourse around the fact that students really need to be career ready. And we know that a lot of our students are career pragmatists. And we also have an environment nationally and here in this state and here at this university where students need to know that their degrees actually have value, like real value. And for me, what makes that really special is that here in the College of Arts and Sciences, students are getting value in their degrees by having these research experiences, having these career experiences, having internships experiences, having their field trips, right? Their 1 week learning experiences. But they're also learning that they can be flexible and that as these careers are rapidly changing, right? Careers that were really popular 10 years ago, some of them are already starting to fade away with the advent of AI, right? And our students may be going into careers that we don't even have names for yet. We can't even imagine what's going to exist 5 years from now. By having the experiences that they have now, by learning those thinking skills, by learning those creativity skills, they're going to be able to pivot in really incredible ways. So I think that's what's really the value of this degree, particularly when they're not just reading and writing and taking tests,
Yeah.
right? They're
Yeah.
doing. So they're developing confidence in their ability to do. And I think that that's just critical. What that means for us moving forward in the College of Arts and Sciences is I'm really thinking of my first year here as helping us rethink about our purpose, our partnerships with one another across students, faculty, staff, and lecturers, and the possibilities that that can open up for us, particularly when we think about the community that we're embedded in, our community partners, our stakeholders, our potential foundation development partners. All of those pieces are really going to come together for us. And, that's kind of the 30,000 view, and I'm happy to share with you some of the things I'm thinking about more specifically as well.
Well, I want to go back briefly. You mentioned to some people, they may not know what arts and sciences might be for
Yes.
some people tuning in. So give a very brief overview of that area. But then you referenced jobs a few years ago, what a
Yes.
job might have looked like that you transitioned to, let's say today, and what those jobs might look like today. So it's a two-pronged question. Arts and sciences, exactly what is it? Types of jobs in the past, and what are we transitioning to today and moving forward?
Yes. So arts and sciences is oftentimes considered the heart of a university. They are the traditional types of degrees that oftentimes people think about when they think about going to college, right?
Hmm.
So we have biology, chemistry, we have English, we have theater, we have music, we have dance, we have communication. And I'm going to, you can't go through all of them, but they're those degrees that really we think about either in the fine arts and arts, the actual sciences, right? The STEM disciplines and hard sciences, the social sciences, right? And then your humanities disciplines. And here, they're all housed in one college. So psychology and English are in the exact same academic college here at this institution. And what that means for jobs, and I think that this is an important one, is that I think that all of our colleges here are incredible. I have enjoyed meeting faculty from across this university, and I think the deans here are just an incredible team, and we all have that same commitment to EMU and to our students. I think what makes arts and sciences different is that a lot of our degrees don't necessarily have a really clear-cut career trajectory or aligned title the way you might have if you say you're an accounting major or a mechanical engineer. So in the discourse nationally, what oftentimes ends up happening is people would say, well, what would you do with a degree in sociology, right? What would you do with just an undergraduate degree in psychology? What would you do with an undergraduate degree in philosophy? And what I love about this college is that I can say unabashedly, what can't you do? In fact, just today I was meeting with one of our corporate partners who does personal finance, and they were talking about the fact that one of their partners actually has a psychology degree. And
Hmm.
wait, you're a finance company helping people do their retirement accounts. Wouldn't you have to have accounting? And they were explaining to me that no, my background is psychology because you really need to understand people's values around money, how they respond to money, what their goals are with their money. And so you have to be a psychologist, right? Some of our alums are succeeding wildly in tech companies,
Yeah.
even though they don't necessarily have an engineering or computer tech background. They're going in and they're able to collaborate with all of these engineering teams and all of these tech teams to help them position themselves and move forward. And they can learn the skills that are necessary in that technology corporation in the job, but they come with these wider skill sets that they're able to apply. So that's what I think makes these majors so incredibly interesting and so important, because with that flexibility and confidence, they're going to be able to pivot into these wide variety of roles.
We have a couple minutes remaining. There's one question I want to ask.
Sure.
I'm just curious, executive coaching, is that, we're seeing a movement and a trend in that space. I'm actually an executive coach as well, but I'm just curious in terms of, is that another area of growth opportunity in this space?
Yeah. I think that that's such an incredible question, because that is one of the careers that we've seen really skyrocketing recently.
Right.
Right. And you need to have a wide base of knowledge. So, when you think about students going to college and they go, oh, I have to get through my entire gen ed curriculum, what good will those classes do me? I can't tell people and sing the praises enough of the gen ed curriculum that made me a legitimately better, well-rounded human being. Right. Being a first generation college student, I had never been in an art museum in my life. We had only gone to Disney World as vacations, hunting, fishing, camping, Disney World. So, having that background gives you the ability to talk to people in so many ways. So you're going to have those psychology and sociology courses. You're going to be able to converse about art. You're going to be able to converse about music. You're going to be able to write. You may be picking up your foreign language, which is critical. And when you're doing coaching, you need to be able to understand people where they are.
Right. That's exactly
And
right.
yeah, that's so important. And I think, we see these other areas that are popping up. And I'll be honest, 10 years ago, when I had students who say, I'm going to make my money being a social media influencer, I go, yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
Let's think about getting you a real job. And now I'm realizing that is a real job.
Mhm.
And students are doing amazing. Well, young adults, right? And high schoolers and middle schoolers. But those who understand their ethical responsibilities of creating content, those that understand what to do with that content, those understand like how to really engage with persuasion and media, and to really use it as a platform for making a difference in their communities. There's some social media influencers who do things that not only make them money, but really help them have a positive impact in the world. And like I said, there are so many of these things that are happening, and businesses are starting to hire in AI areas that we can't necessarily even train for now. We can say we can teach you how to do prompt engineering, but they may not know what all of these other things are as they unfold. But if our students go into those organizations, they'll be able to jump in and figure out what comes next.
Well, we're up against the clock. I want to thank you, Dean Mills, for joining us and just giving us your perspective and your vision, your thoughts on the College of Arts and Sciences. Again, and welcome to the university. Now, as you start your 11th week, we're excited to have you. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
My pleasure. Absolutely. For all of you for tuning in to this edition of EMU Today TV, we will check you out next time with more stories surrounding the great Eastern and Michigan University. Call, make it a great day, make it a great week, and we will check you out next time on EMU Today TV.